The best right back in the league returns. Why not to pick Kane and Son? And there's one man nailed on to bag double points this week. This is the Fantasy Football Cheat Sheet, where we give you up-to-date injury news, predicted lineups, key fixture analysis, who to transfer in, and loads more. And all from official sources. And now it's on a Thursday as well. What's the story regarding injuries for game week 10? Mo Salah is back in training and will start away to Brighton this weekend. In many ways, his absence was the perfect excuse to get some rest in. He'll be recharged and raring to go for the 12:30 Saturday kickoff. It's likely we'll see Jota drop back into a deeper role or even on the bench. He'll be up against Curtis Jones for that slightly more advanced midfield role. And as you'll see later in our key game section, Liverpool and Salah enjoy playing against Brighton. Oh, they do like to be beside the seaside. Man City are struggling this year. They've only won 2 of their previous 7 Premier League games. So who do they always turn to? Sergio Aguero. The Argentinian was an unused sub against Spurs last weekend, which suggests to us with another week of training in the tank, he could be a starter against Burnley. They've got Burnley, Fulham and West Brom in their next 3 home games as well. That should be enough to get him in the top half, I suppose. Villa's incredible injury-free season came to an end on Saturday with Ross Barkley coming off after 5 minutes. It's likely he'll be missing for at least another couple of game weeks. Just don't ask Grealish for a lift of training in the meantime, Ross. Who knows which Villa will turn up this week? The last time they lost in the league, they followed it up with a 3-0 win away at Arsenal. The best right back in the league is back out on the pitch. Ricardo Pereira played 60 minutes for their under-23s this week. It's a funny way of pronouncing Trent Alexander-Arnold, isn't it? We've seen the success of Castagna there in recent weeks, but let's be honest, Pereira is a different beast. He's got 5 goals and 10 assists in his time at Leicester so far. Game week 10 may be too early, but it won't be long before we're all transferring him in. Speaking of Castagna, Rodgers also hopes that he'll be fit for the Fulham game. Elsewhere, Doherty, Cody and Pulisic should all be back in contention for the weekend. The same can't be said for Toby Alderweireld though, who looks like he'll be out for at least 2 to 4 weeks. Now on to our, as of yet, unnamed new fixture section. We promise we'll have a name for it by next week's show, which gives you one last time to offer up any suggestions. I saw a few last week, but not enough. Drop us a suggestion in the comments below. We need to name this section. Chelsea versus Tottenham Hotspur. The 2 best defences clash with the 2 best attacks. What a game we've got in store here. If we're looking purely at the numbers, everything suggests that London could be blue come Sunday evening. Not blue as in sad, but blue as in Chelsea. So yeah, sad actually. Chelsea have 4 clean sheets in the last 6 games, while Lamps has won 3 of his 4 meetings against his old boss, Jose. Their entire back 5, including Mendy, are the top point scorers in their respective positions on Dream Team. And I know we made a bold claim at the beginning of the show, but Kane and Son have only scored 1 goal in each of the last 4 seasons against Chelsea. Something just isn't clicking for them in this fixture. At the other end of the pitch, Spurs fans won't need reminding about Irishman Timo Werner. Timo Werner. Believe it or not, the German is Chelsea's top point scorer in Dream Team this season. Werner has 2 in 3 versus Spurs, including a goal that knocked them out of last year's Champions League. Unlucky Spurs. Man City v Burnley. Oh, Daishy, you could be in for a long 90 minutes, mate. Let's firstly look at the recent meetings between the sides. 3-0, 5-0, 4-1, 1-0, 5-0, 5-0. We could go on. Pep has played Daesh 11 times and won 10 of them. Although Burnley are looking more like, well, Burnley recently, they've lost against every big team they've faced this season. Leicester, City in the Cup, Spurs, Chelsea. Who wrote this? Spurs big club? And if you're lagging behind in your leagues, maybe Aguero could be a gamble worth taking. He's got 9 goals versus Burnley, and given his recent injury issues, I can't see people at the top taking that risk. I'm going to take the risk though, I'm not doing very well. Brighton v Liverpool. Let's start with the fact that Brighton have not beaten Liverpool since 1984. Jurgen Klopp would have been 17 years old and not even legally allowed to buy a beer back then. And this is in Germany, where they have it on their cereal. Brighton have lost every game to Liverpool in the 21st century. But looking at the more recent games, Salah has scored in 3 of the last 4 meetings between the sides, including winners in 2 separate 1-0s. Mane, though, has never scored in 5 appearances versus Brighton. So it's not actually all bad for the Seagulls, just mostly bad. If we ignore the freak Aston Villa result, Liverpool's only drop points this season have been against Everton away and Man City. It's not bad really, is it? Oh, and the new boy Jota was 2-2 for Wolves versus Brighton last season as well. Besides the fact that he just can't stop scoring this season either. The Naughty Step, sponsored by Big Gaz Barry. Oh, Nicholas, what have you done? It wasn't even a decent headbutt either, was it? More of an aggressive nod, really. He's joined by Tariq Lamptey as the two lonely boys on this week's Naughty Step. Transfer ins. Okay, let's get right to it. 3 names we think that you've got to get in your sides this week. If you're playing Dream Team, remember you've got 5 subs at your disposal. Our number 1 pick, Bruno, did all right last week actually. He was the joint 2nd top point scorer in Dream Team for game week 9. It's good. It's not perfect though, is it? So let's go one more. Jamie Vardy. 8 in 8 so far, and he's coming up against the Premier League's equal worst defence. That should be enough already to give the lad your armband, but wait, there's more. Only Ian Wright, Alan Shearer and Frank Lampard have scored more Premier League goals than Vardy in their 30s. What a player. Vardy has played 1 Premier League game against Fulham in his career and scored 2. Meanwhile, the gaffer Brendan Rodgers has won all 7 of his games against Fulham as a coach. Timothy Castagna. That's right, we're going to go double Leicester this week. His recent injury means he might have slipped off a few people's radar, so get him in now before everyone else starts bringing him in as well. Despite missing 5 games in all comps through injury, he's still Dream Team's joint 7th top scoring defender. He had 4 goal involvements and 2 clean sheets in 6 games before his injury. And just look at that run of games coming up for Leicester. Whew. Win, 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 win. Richarlison. Back from his ban and Everton win their first game in 4. His pace is so vital for Everton going forwards. The Brazilian has had 5 goal involvements in his last 5 starts, but in truth that should have been a lot more. Their opponents' Leeds have conceded 8 goals in their past 3 games. Yeah, I know they kept a clean sheet against Arsenal, but I mean, it's not really that hard, is it? For the Calvert-Lewin owners out there, of which there are only 22% on Dream Team, he scored 1 in 3 without Richarlison and 9 in 6 with him. Teamwork makes the dream work. Or should that be Dream Team? Probably should be. Predicted 11s. All right, so you're up to speed with who's available. Let's get some predicted lineups coming your way. I love this part of the show, and I love this game. Right, that's all from us. Just before I leave you, I've got to remind you about our Dream Team fantasy football game. We've got a new and exciting subscription service for you this year called Dream Team Coach. It offers projected scores, fixed difficulty rating, projected price changes, and loads more when you're looking for that extra detail when picking your team. It's available really easily in the app, and there's a link in the description below. Let us know what you thought of the show in the comments. Tell all your mates about us. Tell your nan about us. We're working really hard each week to give you the most informative video on the internet for fantasy football. And let us know what your teams are going to look like. Have you got any obscure picks? How's your season going so far? I hope it's going well. Right, that's all from me. I'm off. Good luck this weekend.